is Dwayne at RealFixesRealFast.com. Today we're working on an 01 Chevy Tahoe, and the complaint is that the radio won't shut off when you open the door. If you recall how these are supposed to work, if you pull up somewhere and shut the key off and put it in the off position, but you've got all the doors closed, the radio and some other things should stay powered up. But as soon as you open the door, the radio should go off. Now in this case, you open the door and the radio stays on. You close the door, walk away, and the radio stays on. We're going to address that problem now. Now this function is controlled by the BCM, or the body control module. So the first thing I want to know is whether or not the scanner or the body control module will actually work. So we're going to use the scanner. So if we look at the scanner, I've got the key in the ignition, and you can see that the dash lights are all on. Now you want to be sure and turn them off, because remember the way this works is you pull up somewhere and you turn the key off, but your radio's on. So I'm going to turn the volume up on the radio so you can hear it. Now as soon as you open the door, that radio should go off. I'm going to see if the BCM can control it, so I'm going to turn it off and the radio goes off. Turn it back on and the radio's back on again. Now that tells me that the body control module, the BCM, is capable of operating the way it's supposed to, but it must not be being told when to turn it on and off. That comes from what they call the door jar switch. First thing I want to do and then is get out my electrical diagram, and I'm looking for the retained accessory power schematic. And in here you see the first thing, here's your retained accessory power. Power's always come from the top, ground's on the bottom. So we've got two power leads here. One is coming from this source, which is direct power on. So this little pin right here has power all the time. Now we also get power from over here, which is your ignition switch. There's power all the time over there, but when it is in the run position, power comes over here to the retained accessory power relay. So you have power either here or there, whichever it is. This is your powers. Now once it has power, it then gets its ground from the radio. The radio is directly grounded. If you recall, most diagrams show all systems at rest. So in a car, at rest is the doors closed. So this relay with the doors closed is set to get power from the ignition switch with the doors closed. So if we are in the run position, we have power, we have ground, the radio should work. But if we're in the off position, we lose this power. The BCM looks for the signals, one of which is whether or not the door is closed. If all the doors have not been opened, it then activates this side. The body control module provides ground through the black wire to the control side of this relay, which then energizes that to come over here. It gets its power from here, but it gets its ground from here. So now to find out where that ground comes from, you can see the ground indication right here in the BCM. We need to go to the BCM diagram. Sometimes you have to look around. These diagrams are in strange places. I had to actually go to the audible warning schematic to find the BCM diagram. And when I've got that, I can see the body control module here. There's several things involved, but one of them is the right front door open switch signal. So the BCM gets a signal that the right front door is open, and it gets that signal from this wire, which is a tan wire. It can come from one or two sides, either the upper level or the base. We're going to look at the base. It continues down here through a connector, a fuse block, and it goes to the mini wedge. Now again, this is shown at rest. At rest, that switch is open. That means it cannot make contact between here. At rest, the door is closed. So when we open the door, we close that contact, and the ground continues all the way down and goes to our body ground. So now let's look at that switch. When we look at this switch, you can see that this is the driver's door jamb switch. It's actually a 4-pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's only got 3 wires. And those 3 wires is a light green with black, a tan, and a black. Black's ground, and our tan is the one we want. That's your left front door open switch signal. So that tan wire should be having ground. So that tan wire, when it gets ground, the BCM sees that, and then it sends a signal out on that black wire to the control side of this relay to turn that relay on. So now let's look at our switches and wires. Now if you're looking for where the door jar switch is, we've actually got our panel all the way off, but the jar switch is built into the door latch. There's 3 plug connectors in here. Now if you look through this little hole, I've got a flashlight on the little connector that you can see in there. Now I've got my camera zoomed in there and you can see we're at that connector. Again, you want to have it connected, but what we want to do is back probe into that tan wire. Now I can't get everything in there, the camera, my hands, and the wire, so I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. We've got an alligator clip on a wire with a needle. We're simply going to back probe that tan wire with this needle so that we can get access to the alligator clip. Now if we're right, really all we need to do is supply ground to that tan wire. As you can hear, our radio is on, the door is open. We take this alligator clip and we touch ground, the radio went off. Now if you also notice, this light came on. What is that light? That light goes right in here, so that when you open your door at night, people can see your doors open. Now to make sure you understand this, we're going to set it up one more time. We're going to turn the key on, the dash lights come on, the radio comes on. Now you have to turn the key off. You turn the key off, the dash lights go out, the radio stays on, but it shouldn't be on because our door is open. But we simply take our ground connection, connect it to ground, the radio goes off, and this light comes on. Now this light comes on leads us to a very easy and simple way to diagnose this problem. Now here's a quick and simple way to tell if this is your problem and or which door is the problem. You notice with this door open, that light is out. Now if we go back to this door, you can hear the radio still on, but when I open this door, you can see the light comes on, that light came on, and the radio went off. So when you open these doors, these lights should come on. Let's go check the other side. Now we're over at the passenger side. We're going to see what happens here. We've got the key off, the radio's on, we open this door, you can hear the radio went off, and this light came on. The same thing would happen at this door. Whenever these doors open, these lights should be on. So if you want a very quick way to diagnose this problem, that the radio stays on even when the door is open, look at this light. If this light is off, that's your problem. If that light is on, it could be any of the other doors, including the cargo door. If the light is off when the door is open, then the BCM doesn't know that that door is open. Now the fix for this is the door open switch, which is a part of this lock mechanism. When you take this all out, there's 3 connectors in there, and one of them is the door open switch.